Okay, let's call this meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance is over there. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mission statement, Viroqua area schools will nurture excellence, unlock potential, and ignite the passion. Student board report, we have Elise and we have Emily. Come this way, and Jason, do you want to? I guess I shouldn't have said that. I asked you to introduce them and then I said their name.
And you, yeah, I think they know they're on their way out.
Right, this way.
Told them where to go. Yeah.
This way. First of all, thank you for coming on this absolutely lovely summer.
Yeah, of course.
Somebody in October.
All right. Hi, my name is Elise Neprud. I'm a senior here at Viroqua High School. I'm planning on going to Western Technical College next year to major in a degree of occupational therapy assistant. I'm in student council and volleyball and forensics.
And then my name is Emily Vera. I'm also a senior here, and I am involved in student council, treasurer, FFA, and I'm also the vice president for our class. So my future plans, not sure where I'm going yet, but I'm starting to fill out the applications, and I really want to go into elementary education. Yeah.
More than.
So some of our activities that we want to talk about and kind of recap is about homecoming week. So that was the very last week of September and then start of October. So we kind of did a different activities. So we had window painting, float building, hallway decorating.
We had dress up days for every day of the week.
And
And
then we had a Thursday, we had our skits and rallies. So each grade performed a skit and a song that they came up with. Friday was the day that we voted, found out the results of our homecoming court. So we were both actually on homecoming court. So that was pretty fun. And then our king and queen I was the queen and the king was Adisu Newenhouse Wright. So yeah. And then also one activity that we're planning right now with NHS and student council is a trick or treat so others can eat. So we have little groups kind of going around Viroqua, and they're gonna knock on the door and trick or treating, but they're gonna ask for perishable foods that we can donate to the food pantry.
You know where I live, so make sure you.
Yes. Going that way.
You usually do.
So is that all in town?
Oh yeah. So I think we have quite a few groups. So we kind of wanted to tie in NHS too, so that they can get their hours. So NHS has to get 10, then student council also has to get 10 hours.
I do know that there's a shortage actually of food right now at the food pantry that's in. Any questions? So I did see the floats and I did go around and look at the doors and the paintings, and I was very impressed. It's amazing technology that's being used. And nothing against a freshman class, but you can always tell a significant difference in the creativity, as the years go on and students end up learning more about how that process works. But you guys did a great job of the very well done. So thank you. And I did go to homecoming, so that was fun.
And Rubo was great.
Yes.
Who won Rubal? They announced it, but I don't.
Junior girls.
Junior girls. Just point. I do have a question about volleyball. I know that there's a game coming up. Tomorrow. Okay.
Big game.
Well, we'd like to wish you all much luck with that.
Yeah,
And
thank
you
you.
guys won some tournaments this year, and
Yep.
Good year.
yeah, we're looking forward to tomorrow night.
And that game is here, correct?
Yep.
Well, thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for
All right.
coming.
Yeah,
And we all,
thank you.
if there's ever anything we can do for you as a board, we're all very open to that and want to see that you're all very successful. So we are here to support you.
Thank you.
It looks like you have two people. Yeah. Okay. Oh, there's one.
And we hope to see you again. The next topic is spotlight on education, and we have. Okay, I didn't know if you said somebody was there
Yep.
via Zoom for that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, I didn't know if there was another person.
Hi, Robert, can you hear us?
Oh, he's on his way to Madison, I think.
Yep.
Oh, we can't hear you, you're muted. You're muted, Robert.
I think you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're really loud. Can you just calm down just a little bit?
Yeah, I'll work on it.
All right. Good to see you. Hi, Pat.
Hello, so I'm reporting for Mrs. Sue, from the elementary. Spotlight on education is gonna be about, some music concerts that just happened. That just last week?
It was.
That was just last week, I think, about a month ago. So she couldn't be here, but she gave me her program and I witnessed the program, which was awesome. So our fourth grade music concert was last Tuesday. They work really hard to get ready. They perform it for the whole school at 8:30 and then parents come in about 1:30 for the actual presentation. They ran through the Star Spangled Banner, school song called Smile, I Love the Mountains, which is a round, which obviously you know, is you start singing and then another group starts singing the same thing a little bit later, and pretty soon you end at the same time, which is cool. Apple Tree, which featured some cool xylophone players and some rhythm and duets. Rocky Mountain, which also had the contrabass bar, a bass xylophone, an alto xylophone, and some movers. Lightning Flash, which also featured, which is always just fun to say, glockenspiel. Some unpitched percussion and crescendo and decrescendo. My favorite things, Rattle and Bog. Kids always love the 50 Nifty United States. That's a cool one. They also learned that there were student artwork presented behind the singers and dancers and music makers. So fourth graders learned that rhythm can also be created in music, but also in art. So they, with Mrs. LaCour, did a Zentangle drawing technique, which creates unique patterns and shows rhythm. Throughout this program, it's an awesome program for the whole school to see, for parents to come in and see, but then it also covers 9 of our academic standards for music, singing alone and with others, playing alone and with others, improvising music, composing and arranging, reading and notating music, analyzing and describing music, and a couple other ones. Awesome performance. That's a ton of work for music teachers. I don't know if people realize the amount of time that takes to get kids ready. And it's an awesome opportunity for kids to get on stage and sometimes overcome some of their fears to perform. So that was Tuesday, December 10th will be first and third grade concert. And then Tuesday, April 8th will be Children's House, kindergarten, second grade, and E1 students. So that'll be a big one in April. Miss Stu would have done a much better job than that, but I ran through everything that she did, but it was really, it's just cool to see kids get up there and perform, and it's awesome to have parents in and to see some of the things we're doing at school. So.
We did have one for my favorite things. One of our fourth grade students rewrote the song.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was and then taught it to their classmates, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
I assume that there's usually a pretty good turnout of parents that
Yes.
attend that.
Yes,
and-
they pack them in the cafetorium.
Love that.
What we call that.
I was just curious, just the change of flow of traffic and all of that. Still
Yep, it seemed to
able
go
to get in
fine.
and out, and
Yeah.
it's nice having it early when the weather's.
Yes, and they can park in the back where buses are because they're out by the time the buses come, so that's probably much better than last year. Let's keep moving forward.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yep.
And next, Wyatt.
Perfect. We had some middle school concerts this past week also. This is on Wednesday. So this year we tried it out. We actually had 3 separate concerts. So we had them spaced out an hour apart. So that included 6th, 7th, 8th grade choir, 7th and 8th grade orchestra, and 7th and 8th grade band. So it was mostly all of our middle school musicians all in one place, which was really cool. Some of the standards that we covered from WMEA, we mostly in our ensembles, our large ensembles, our strengths are in the performing and responding categories. And the ensemble strand that we use is on level of proficiency. So there's 2. There's level of proficiency, which is more the technical side, which is mostly our specialty in those ensembles. And then there is, I forget, it's the artistry one is the other one. So we have 2 of them that we kind of have to look at. So we went with the proficiency one. These are kind of our big ones. So obviously performing. And then our biggest strengths that we kind of went on were the rehearse and present, right? So those are kind of our big strengths and big focuses. And then after that, of course, is responding, and the performing and responding usually really tie in really well together. So those were kind of our focuses as far as standards go. So it's always kind of cool to look at that. We talk about repertoire. This is our literature. This is kind of what we consider our teaching tools, right? So we usually take the concepts that we want to learn, and then we find the pieces that have those concepts, right? So what I really like about our program is that we've got a lot of diversity in here, right? We've got traditional songs, folk songs. You can see there's some pop songs. There's some like classical songs from like the Romantic era. And then there's just new songs. And like I said, again, pop songs, right? There's songs that we all kind of know. And then there's some songs that students maybe don't really know, right? So kind of taking a look, kind of something I can speak on the band side of things pretty well. That I really like is that if you look at our 7th grade band and our 8th grade band, I think I had to buy 5 of the 6 of those pieces. So something I'm really excited about is that our students are playing brand new music that is coming out right now, right? So they are being a part of like the band world as it's happening. So that's really, really cool. The other thing that I really, really liked is that we've got some folk songs, especially in choir. You'll find that a lot. So that's an important cultural thing for students. And then we've got some more classical in the orchestra section as well. So something I was pretty excited and proud of there. Preparing for this concert, I'm not sure if they had a fall middle school concert in the past.
No,
I don't think so.
not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so kind of the reason I advocated for that to happen for our whole kind of music department. I know orchestra might have done one last year, but wanted our whole department to do it because we wanted to really reinforce the process that middle schoolers need to fall into, and they just need a lot of practice to do that, and sometimes a little bit of pressure. So these are some of our kind of common expectations in rehearsal spaces, that they come into the space prepared to learn. They're aware of their surroundings and are content without the attention of others during rehearsal. They respond appropriately, and they give the podium their attention. The podium meaning whoever's speaking to them, the instructor, so on and so forth. So kind of that was another purpose to have this concert. Is we kind of went with easier repertoire for our students because we had less time, but really we wanted to reinforce the process in hopes that our next 2 concerts for these middle schoolers, the process will be kind of just part of what they do every day. So that was something I also thought was really important. Was proud of the students for that. Another thing, at least in my classroom, I can say I did a lot of was making sure that students can gauge their own achievement. So we have something in the band room we call TARTs. That's tone, articulation, rhythm, technique, and style. So we always have students, thinking about that, but then sometimes we'll actually pick students out in our concert preparation and we'll have them play, and then they'll rate themselves. Usually they're pretty honest. Sometimes not. And then kind of the goal with that is we start with our very, very basic parts, right? It's very easy for them to kind of memorize. They kind of know, pinpoint each one. And then in the spring, when some of these students will go to large group festival, then they'll be looking at different categories: tone, intonation, balance, technique, interpretation, expression. presentation. Mostly the same stuff, just a little bit more in depth. So that was another thing I think is very important that we're kind of teaching those students. And yeah, so looking forward, we're hoping to increase performing and responding strands, the ones that I had showed up earlier. And we're gonna kind of, the next step, at least in the band world, is music literacy. So that's rhythm reading and note naming. So we had, I think it was tone and articulation, the first two that you saw in there. That was the priority for the last concert. This one is all about the technique and accuracy for the next concert. And then we are going to continue to reinforce the rehearsal process as we go. So there's some upcoming performances up there. We've got 2 in December, and then we've got 2 in the spring. So yeah, I was really excited and really happy with how they did. Anybody have any questions?
So I want to thank you for having the fall concert, or we, I should say, because I think that's a fantastic idea. There's such a long time between when school begins and actually performing, and it allows a whole different genre of music. So thank you for doing that. I think that's fantastic. And when you say new music, new music that you purchased, or new music that the kids like? It's their music of this time period.
There's kind of a wave of like, I guess, educational music, especially in middle school band right now. It's kind of like a big thing that's happening right now. There's a lot of like middle school band music that's just brand new that people are making for educational purposes. So like, for example, there's one that we just handed out today with the 6th graders that has just like key concepts. And it's built in the concepts in mind, essentially. That's what I mean by new. So yeah, and then that also ties into making sure that we have diverse composers as well. So yeah, it's like just brand new band music that kids have never heard before. I've never heard before, right? So it's really exciting. There's a lot for the middle school, especially.
Is that the same thing that will happen then in the winter and as well as in the spring? That you'll be using that same type of purchasing some new music in that program? Yep.
I'm mostly always shopping for new music, so always looking. So yeah, it'll be a lot of.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunities. I know there's been some new plays also, and there's different genres of music that go with the plays, and then they actually have historical meaning. And so it's another way of learning a lot of different academic areas through music. So
yeah, it's exciting.
It is. It's very exciting. So thank you. Anyway, I did see the kids. We had a board meeting actually, and we saw middle school kids. They were very, very excited, and it's fun to see that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate you. Thanks for coming too.
Yeah.
Next item is committee reports, budget and finance. Tom.
Yeah, so Matt's not here, so I'm gonna go ahead and give that report. So we met to talk about before Chris went on his vacation, more of just what the board would like as far as direction, as far as setting the tax levy mill rate, and finding that balance of paying down debt when we can. And so that was really the bulk of the conversation. We will be having a special meeting coming up on the 30th that we will set the levy in the budget for, and that's after Chris gets back, has a couple days to settle and reacquaint himself with the numbers to make sure we have accurate information.
Thank you for that. And by the way, Matt is not here because of a family emergency. So thank you. Public comment? None. Perfect. The next item is the consent agenda. Approval of the agenda, proof of public notice, September meeting minutes, voucher summary 1 in the amount of $516,834.40. Retirements and resignations, we have none. Appointments, we have none. 24-25 spring start college now. Early college credit program and online course request, this is something that's very common that happens annually. And early graduation request, once again, also some report that happens annually.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is voucher summary 2, and that is in the amount of $297,369.70.
I move to approve the voucher summary 2, and that amount is stated.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And I abstain from that. Information and discussion, we have a special board meeting on October 30th, as Tom mentioned, and that will be for the approval of the budget. We have donations over $250, which is Viroqua Dental Center, $500 for Book of the Month. Various local businesses and individuals gifted $550 for the Book of the Month. And then my husband and myself, we donated money for the football guardian caps, which is helpful to prevent concussions. Would like to thank all of those. I'm not thanking myself. It's a little awkward.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'd like to thank everyone for their generosity. District Administrator, we have the School Board Appreciation Week, and there is an appreciation for everything anymore. And so.
Okay, don't downplay it. Yeah, School Board Appreciation Week was not this week, but the week before. And I really want to say, just, from everybody within the district, how much we appreciate having a board that focuses on the right things and does things in the right way. And I think that's not as common as maybe what we assume it is, or what we maybe take for granted sometimes. So I really do appreciate you. Each and every one of you for the work that you do. It doesn't come with a lot of money or accolades, but we really do appreciate what you guys go through for guiding the district. And so I think I can say that for all the administrators in the back as well. As a token, a very small token of our appreciation, if you've never had one of my wife's chocolate chip cookies, they are absolutely amazing. So if you want to grab one of those and pass that around, again, very small token, but just something to show our appreciation. So,
Thank you.
yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into the facilities report.
And before you do
sorry.
that, it's also, it's not administrators' appreciation, but it's principals. I tried to throw some
Yep.
administration in there, but I was told I'm not permitted to do that. But we would like to thank our principals and all of our leaders and administrative team for all the work that you do. I hope that you feel appreciated, and if you don't, very sorry for that, but we so appreciate all that you do each day and the guidance that you give our district in order to make our students successful and our families. Appreciate everything that you do as well, even though I'm certain that you don't hear it as often as you should. Okay, now you can go ahead.
All right. We are going to bounce to the summary of the building project. So as you can see, major milestones there. We won't go over everything, but renovations are done at Better Futures. The elevator has been installed and is operating. It is awesome. It is an actual elevator, so you don't feel we don't feel like you're going to get trapped in it or stranded, which is a unique feeling. If you ever rode in the last elevator, you would know exactly why that's such a big deal. We're finishing all of the masonry interior and exterior veneer at the Tech Ed. You can see it if you drive behind the school over there. It looks really, really good. And the replacement of all of the exterior caulking at the elementary has been wrapped up and should improve efficiency at that building, as some of that needed it badly. We're going to continue with the landscaping. We've received a lot of great comments. I want to say, I don't know if they're totally finished with all the trees. I think they've planted over 100 trees at this point. I have not gone around and counted, but there are a lot on this campus that have gone in. There's scheduled to be 125 that are going to be planted on campus. The elementary bathrooms near the gym, which are so important to that performance and that gym space over there, are going to be completed at the end of next week, which are going to be really incredible. And other pieces. Yep, so storefronts are going in throughout the district. So what storefronts are those aluminum doors with the glass. So before we had all of the steel doors that rot and look terrible after just a few years. That's not the case anymore. We're gonna have all of the aluminum storefronts essentially wherever we can put them throughout the district, and those last a lot longer. Tech ed equipment has started to be delivered. That started this last week. And now furniture is being delivered here in the middle of November. Right now, we are planning on having our open house on December 12th, starting around 5:30. And that is going to be an incredible time for our community to be able to see an unbelievable space. And as you can see, nothing new as far as unforeseen issues or conditions. The biggest one that could are, oh, Robert, did you have a question? Okay. The biggest thing is just the cold weather, which is so funny that I'm talking about that on this night. But in a couple of days, we're going to be back down in the 50s, and then we live in Wisconsin. It's going to come as far as a cold front moving in sooner rather than later. And so we just need to be ready for that, which is why when they have days like this, they're doing everything that they can on the exterior so that we don't have to mess with that later. So a couple of photos here. So we had our high school tech ed students walk through, and they got their own private tour of the facility. It is really incredible. So they were talking about the layout of all the equipment, why they had to put things where they put them. So not only are you seeing it being, finished out and the construction live, but you're also getting the why. You can see the tech ed floor prep over here for the fab lab. So in this, they're going to have 3D printers. We're actually going to have 2 programmable robotic arms, among other things. It's going to be really incredible. I don't know why this one was included, but hey, there's a brand new fire alarm panel. It's really, really pretty. This picture over here in room 507 is a door that was in the old auto shop and is now in the new wood shop. You can see all of the glass has allowed so much natural light into spaces that historically have had none. Like truly, the shop spaces never had natural light. And so we can also see probably, and my favorite classroom in this district now is going to be the new ag classroom. That's the one on the bottom left here. That's the classroom. So that glass is coming, all of that natural light is coming into the actual classroom, which is incredible. And then we've got our, they're calling it the Meat Flex room here, but this is our ag processing lab. And you can see again, even on the interior, we have all of these doors that are allowing visibility into spaces that you just never had before. And so our teachers can absolutely keep an eye on for safety, but also just again, that natural light flows through the entire space now with all of these glass doors.
What's that little space that's kind of outside?
Mm-hmm. The kind of the common area.
No. That's that's facing.
Oh, you're talking about that one over there. Yep, it's
Yeah.
a cold storage. So
Oh,
we've
that's
never
what that
had
is. Okay.
any storage for any lumber over 12 feet or any metal or pipes over 12 feet.
Right.
And so those we can fit up to 40-foot lengths right there, and it's cold storage, but it's not. So it's going to be out of the elements, but it is going to be outside.
Okay,
And so
got it.
yes, I was not. Yeah, so they just finished the fencing, I believe, today.
Yeah.
So that's up and ready to go now. There's our new elevator. As you can see, it's an actual elevator, really weird. And then where we don't need an elevator because there's this new beautiful ramp going down into the new tech ed space. It's got a rubber flooring that is super grippy. I know that's not a really great descriptive word, but it's hacky. Tacky's better. Yeah. Anybody else? Anybody have a better word for me? That is the south exterior on the bottom left. So you can see again, they mixed that stone with the wood look metal. And it's looking great. And then new trees. This is out by our main entrance, out by the high school entrance off of 56 out there. And again, it's looking great. I can't wait to show the community here in December. What questions do you have for me?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I had a question. We've been calling it tech ed. I think I left you a message about that. But there's a lot of ag spaces in there, and I'm wondering if we can't call it ag and tech ed, and especially when you're going to have the open house on a national holiday.
Sure.
My birthday.
Oh, is that it?
Oh.
National. Well, we were only thinking of you there, Robert.
Trying to figure out. what day
I'm like,
that
I did
was.
not see a national holiday on that calendar. But we may have
It
to have
should be. You got a
cake or
defective
something,
calendar.
for this one. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. Tech ed really is you know, and it's supposed to be an all, you know, more of an encompassing term, not one that is a limiting term. But yeah, we can definitely talk about that piece. It's not like yeah, it's not like we have a limiter.
So the only thing I would say, Robert, is like the technical college system in the state of Wisconsin, the 16 technical colleges like Western, they're all inclusive. They include accounting and robotics as well as planting, ag and it's kind of all inclusive. So I think if we went down that direction, we may have to expand into a lot of different areas that we're trying to name. Just my
I
thought.
think we really need to recognize the ag part primarily because we've had a lot of support from our rural areas for this, and a lot of them are in the ag field. And I just think it's kind of a little bit of a disservice to those folks if we don't include ag in there specifically. I'm strongly in favor of adding ag, but I'm only one vote.
Well, thank you for that. I had the good fortune of going through the area and seeing where the small animals are going to be, where there's going to be an area for large animals, where we can do some hydroponics, which we're already doing some of that from my understanding. I mean, it's just a great space, and it'll be a wonderful thing for our students. A question that I've received is, are we going to have any adult programming in the evening? And I have said, I do not know.
It would depend on who would use the space, and who would be providing that service. And so we have, had conversations with the tech school. They've kind of gone away from a lot of that out of the high schools. It used to be very common where you'd have a night class, in the high school. But they've kind of gone away from that. So it would have to be something probably more of, somebody that's in the community that would like to use our spaces.
Tech ed went away for it, and that's actually during my time on Western's board because of money, because there was a cost to it that they couldn't absorb.
Yep.
And I don't know if that would be our case as well, but that is a comment that I've heard or a question that So thank you, and thanks for the report and the pictures, and it's really amazing. Referendum information.
Yeah, so obviously we're going to referendum here in November. Chris and I have been speaking to many community groups. I want to say probably up to 11 or 12. After tonight's, I've got 2 meetings right after this, which is why we started at 6, so I can get to 2 municipalities this evening. And so I want to say we've done probably 6 or 7 in the last week. We'll continue that kind of tour of just information as we go out into the community. Feedback's been good so far.
And if anyone has questions, you can go to the school's website. You can call any of our administrative team and call any of our board members, and we can get any of your questions answered if perhaps we don't know the answer. Yep. But the website on our school district website has a lot of really great information.
Yeah, and based upon feedback, we have been posting daily on the Facebook page now, which I think I'm hoping is well received. I know some people go, well, that's, too much, or we already know about this, but again, the feedback we were receiving is just more information is going to be better. So.
Great. Next, we have administrator reports. Jason, do you want to start us off?
Sure. Been unfortunate for girls and Mr. Brown, I feel covered some of my items. So I can keep it a little shorter. Homecoming week did go really well. Our theme this year was Las Vegas. You remember last year it was under the sea and it rained all week. So this year we chose the desert theme and it was dry all week for it. But we actually did, girls mentioned a little bit, we did move some things around this year. Last year we had to move the parade to the Monday. And when we did, we realized we kind of like the parade on a different day than skits and rallies. So we figured we'd try that this year. So we actually bumped Drew Ball back a day, bumped skits and rallies on the Thursday, and then did the parade on Friday. Which it's nice because it spreads out things throughout the week. But we still created a schedule that the teachers didn't really want to teach the kids after activities in the day, so we put all the activities toward the end of the days. But still, we just maneuvered classes around, so everybody still got about this, every block still got the same amount of meetings throughout the week. So that all went well. The dance went great. The students were great, as they always are. We surveyed the staff afterwards. They were very positive. It's one of those weird things. Usually if you survey the staff, somebody's gonna complain about the schedule. We actually had numerous positive comments about the schedule for the week. So that was nice and refreshing to have. So that all went well. Mrs. Halverson and Sage does a great job throughout the week, and student council and everybody as far as planning things. If you see the work they have to do, the calendar they create of every day, what they need to accomplish, and get things done. So things can go as smooth as possible. They do a really good job with that. Like I said, Dan will talk about fall activities. We did have first quarter parent teacher conferences already. And compared to last year, I think parent participation was up like just over 20%. It's not huge numbers, it's still the highest school vote. But it was up this year compared to previous years. And second quarter parent teacher conference night is on the night of open house. So we kind of typed that in to be able to draw some more people in for that too. So. And Dan, can you talk about fall activity? Sure. He likes when I introduce him. So.
Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome.
Really exciting fall so far. Participation is up pretty significant, well over 25%, largely driven by girls volleyball and bigger boys cross country team, as well as a slightly larger football team. Performance wise, we've been competitive in most sports. Golf, which we co-op with Westby, they lead the co-op, but all of the golfers are from Viroqua. Had a really good season. First team all conference players. We had two of them, Maddie Fletcher and Amanda Christensen. Maddie Fletcher was also conference player of the year and regional champion. Amanda Christensen also placed 8th at regional, so really good turnout by our girls golf team. Girls tennis, a little bit of an unusual season. We didn't have a freshman or a senior. All sophomores and juniors participation was slightly low, but nonetheless, exciting to see some kids who had never even played the sport before come out for the team. Girls volleyball, they've had a really strong season. It's their best overall record in quite a while. Jason loves his stats.
Yeah, we were thinking the 90s, maybe.
It's the 90s since we
like
had that many wins.
Yeah, it's been a really exciting season for them. Participation was up so significantly that we did add a 4th level, a JV reserve. They were 6-6 in conference play and earned a home game in the first round of the regionals tomorrow night here versus Lancaster. I hope all of you can be here for that. Football participation was up slightly as well, and it's the best record we've had since 2018. They finished the season 3-6 overall. And then cross country is still going. They have sectionals this Friday. It's really exciting. The girls placed 3rd at conference. First place conference honors went to Elias Schwem, who's a freshman. She actually took 2nd place at the conference meet, and Ruben Padova, a senior, who took 5th place at the meet. Also Hazel Goltz earned honorable mention. And also 2 boys. I think last year we only had 4 full-time boys on the team. This year, quite a bit more boys, and 2 freshman boys earned honorable mention at conference, so that was exciting as well. So the girls team right now, Jason and I have been going back and forth. It looks like the girls as a team is in the top 3 going into sectionals. The top 2 advanced to state as a team. So fingers crossed for Friday that they can eke out beat Prescott. Nothing against Prescott.
That was Salem, we wouldn't mind. being
Yeah,
nice.
that wouldn't hurt our feelings either. Yeah. So that's all I have.
Are those games at night?
The cross country or
Well,
the
the volleyball,
volleyball is tomorrow night here at 7 p.m.
and then if they win.
If
when
they win, it'll be Thursday at Cuba City, I believe.
And
And that'll be 7 p.m.
Cross country's afternoon.
Yeah,
Afternoon.
cross country is strange. It's a 2 p.m. race this Friday,
Oh, okay.
Black River Falls.
I know it starts getting dark a little earlier, so I just wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Okay, thank you. Pat?
Yeah, I can touch on our PBIS and homecoming and parent teacher conferences. PBIS, easier way to understand that is we try to have all our students and adults follow the Viroqua way, which is being respectful, responsible, safe, and kind. And we need to teach what those expectations are, especially in the common area. Teachers have their expectations in their own classroom to follow those. But then also, what do we expect in the hallways? Lunchroom, bathrooms, playground, bus, any common area has to have common expectations. So what Krista might allow, I have to do the same thing, so that it isn't, well, her students are super loud and mine are following expectations, it doesn't work. Or probably be the other way around. And a big part of it too is just teaching those skills. It's like any subject, academic subject, we teach those skills, a big chunk of the kids understand it, can do it from day one. There's also a chunk that needs some reteaching and practicing and modeling, and then there's a smaller percentage that need some supports and need extra help to understand, to teach those skills. We always have to realize kids aren't misbehaving on purpose, they just don't have the skills yet to behave the way and follow our expectations possibly. So we can reteach them, and doesn't mean there aren't consequences, but it isn't punishment. If a kid is struggling to read, we don't punish the student. We figure out ways to support them in reading. The same thing with behavior. We can have consequences, doesn't mean punishment. We can't punish something out of them. They don't have the skills yet to be able to follow our expectations. It's similar to what we've done each year. We try to add a little bit of something. We acknowledge students for following the Viroqua way with Viroqua Blackhawk tickets. And they can vote for an end of the quarter celebration. Pretty fast, actually. And same thing if students aren't following and can either be documented a minor or major behavior communication. And again, the biggest thing we do at our age is communicate with parents and try to reteach those skills. Moving to homecoming. Homecoming was awesome with our Las Vegas theme from the high school, which was very cool. We had volleyball and football players greeting kids as they entered, which was super cool. Also, I tried to write. That's good. No, we also had a pep rally on Friday at homecoming, which was really cool. To get the whole elementary school into the gym with some songs, some cheers led by fourth grade, a student relay race, brew ball, teachers beat the fourth grade classrooms. And then our float, each classroom decorated a star to go on our Welcome to Fabulous VES and VAMS float. Some fourth graders got to ride on the float with some sparkly lady and Elvis, I heard. Cool. That was a good week. And then parent teacher conferences, the elementary are coming up on Thursday, November 7th and Tuesday, November 12th. Good.
Any questions for Pat? I'm just so glad we're getting back to having those upper class folks being around those younger students, because it's such a wonderful leadership opportunity. So I idolize those older students, and weren't able to do that for quite a few years. And I saw some pictures on Facebook about it, and oh my gosh, those kids were so excited.
Yeah, it was
So,
cool.
thank you
Hopefully
for
we
that.
continue doing and get into this school. Or both.
Or close. That's right. And it was nice weather too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you. We have some board reports. Laurel, update please.
Laurel had their annual meeting a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend. Really sad because it was their traditional dessert potluck. But they had 2 members step off the governance council and they elected 2 new members during the annual meeting. And Renee also shared with me that the Laurel students took a field trip to American Players Theater. They saw Much Ado About Nothing, if I recall correctly. And right now they're planning for their cabaret, which will be in December. So I'm sure there will be info on the website and school news about that. So always fun to see the cabaret.
So a favorite dessert?
Well, I went last year, there were some good brownies. And my neighbor was coming home with a big plate of leftovers, so I think they had a good turnout.
Sounds like a fun event.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, so Dan, are you guys gonna have an end of the
Yeah.
season?
There's an end of season banquet, all for end of season celebration Wednesday, November 6th at 6:30 p.m.
Okay, is that a dessert thing
It's
also?
cookies. Christy Etheridge chefs up 300 cookies or 400 cookies if staff want some the next day. Yes, it's milk and cookies and decaf.
It's very nice. Thank you. I always enjoy that experience. BAM's update, Kim, our part.
BAM's had their meeting is now moved back to right before this meeting. So that makes it a little easier, it's not so far apart, but they have their paperwork ready to have their nonprofit status. They're just waiting because they're gonna switch treasurers, so they're waiting to change that. The teachers reported on the field trip they had to Maple Ridge Orchard, where they got to pick apples, learn about how pollination works and see animals and those things. And they're gonna have their annual strategic planning meeting on November 2nd. Otherwise, things are going pretty good.
The next item is WASB legislative update. Tom sent a couple of articles to us. I don't know if you all have had an opportunity to read them. One was about standards and benchmarks and actually how they've changed the formula, and it's a better, an actual assessment of how our students are doing in the world of testing. It wasn't changed to make it look like so that the perception was that our students were doing well, but it was changed so that we're actually testing on what the students' benchmarks are, and that the numbers that we receive will be more of a true analysis of how well our students are doing compared to other students in the state. So that was a good article. And then there was an article once again about social media and how complicated the laws are on social media as far as you being a person and not representing the board, or being an administrator and not representing the administration. And court cases are going in a lot of different directions. So basically just be very cautious of social media, and so that we don't get ourselves in any kind of problems. So that was good. And then there was some information about WSB, and they're kind of revamping themselves to try to be more engaged. There is that meeting that's coming up. I don't know if any board members are going, but it's in the past has not been very helpful, and they're giving you legal information that we found out about 2 or 3 months ago, so it wasn't very relevant. So I don't know what the turnout looks like at those meetings, but I just asked Beth and none of us are going, and that's probably a good thing. And then one more time, I just want to say that any information that anybody wants about the referendum, please go to our website or ask. It's pretty important for people to vote. And so we hope there's a very good turnout for that. And I see that Beth has also updated on the bottom board member meetings. And if anybody is going to the school board convention, January 21 through 24, please let us know as soon as possible so we can get the discounts for the hotels. And what we've done in the past is we've driven on Tuesday and typically left Thursday evening after the last meeting. But it doesn't mean that that's how you have to do it.
And
And-
the snow.
Right, and it will be, it's always the coldest week of the year. So
We
always.
did leave early, didn't we, last time?
We've always, there was a horrible storm that was coming. So we did leave a little bit early on that Thursday, I think, but let Beth know so we can get a discount on hotels. And I will be driving separately because I have a Western meeting on that Tuesday. So with that, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second? It is a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and this is a very short meeting for us, so don't
Hey, Beth, do you need any signatures?